Prince Philip's brutal nickname for Meghan Markle that he never said to her face. William shows sweet affection towards Catherine. If you knew, you wouldn't be able to help but admire Prince Philip's wisdom and gloat over Meghan's worthy title. Let's explore this and more in this video. Welcome back, we are Kate Middleton and the Queen Channel. The late Prince Philip had an especially brutal nickname for Meghan Markle, one that he never said to her face, according to a royal expert. The late Prince Philip saw similarities between Meghan and Wallis Simpson, the late Duchess of Windsor, and she was very controversial, much like Meghan. Wallis was also American, and she was also divorced. I think she was only divorced once, maybe twice, Meghan at least 2 times, which is why he used to refer to her as the Duchess of Windsor. The fact is, Wallis Simpson became one of the most controversial figures in modern royal history. Did Prince Philip not also predict, though, that Meghan's ending would be about the same? And he could not have been more right. The same emotionless look, the same cruel face. Prince Philip was a very canny individual, and he could see right through any artificial behavior, right to the core of a person or situation. And I really think the world misses him a lot, especially the royal family. His Royal Highness Prince Philip wasn't wrong when he compared Meghan to Wallis. I mean, they're both overly ambitious, they're both very self-centered, and they both only consider themselves when it came to Edward and Harry. Wallis did everything she could to snag her own royal. And Meghan has done exactly the same thing with Harry. Wallis really was disruptive towards the royal family, and Meghan has certainly done the same. Neither of them really care about the royal family or what it stands for. Harry just can think back to what happened to Edward as he lay dying, and he was calling out to Wallis, and guess what? She never bothered coming. History does have a funny way of repeating itself. I remember watching a show about Prince Philip on TV after he passed away, and it really opened my eyes. He certainly was no freeloader. He was a hero. He saved lives when he served in the Royal Navy, and he actually designed many things too. And his filing system in the palace was perfect. He was incredibly intelligent, and he actually had a lot to overcome with the late Queen Mother. In the early days, she was pretty unpleasant to him. Actually, the royal family was incredibly lucky to have had him, and really everybody was. The only thing about Prince Philip that bothered me a little bit, and we can say this about many members of the royal family, they're big fans of shooting. But anyway, back to Meghan. Prince Philip figured out who she was immediately. And in the beginning, the Queen tried to see the best in her, tried to accept her. But as time passed, especially after the wedding day, we saw the disgust on the Queen's eyes as she was watching them get married. Unlike when Prince William and Princess Catherine got married. Everybody was happy on that day. And honestly, that wasn't even a bad name for Meghan Markle. She'd probably be flattered if she heard it. I can think of a lot worse names that I already have called her. Prince Philip was really a remarkable man, much like his wife. And he was so right about Meghan. I felt so sorry for both him and the late Queen. Their last few years should have been bliss, but instead, Meghan and Harry made him so horrible. She had no respect for anybody, and she showed it. She has put the royal family back years, but at least now we have the King, we have Camilla, we have Prince William and Princess Catherine. And I think the royal family is going to do just fine in the future. And I wish the King and Princess Catherine a speedy recovery. I hope that they'll get back to work as soon as they're well enough. Prince Philip was an excellent judge of character, but like Her late Majesty the Queen, many of us were hoping the monarchy could become more inclusive and appeal to the younger generation with Harry and Meghan's marriage. Boy, were we all fooled. But anyway, why is it that reporters on the royal family, and especially when they're talking about Harry and Meghan, have to just repeat what happened when they stepped down 6 years ago? Everybody already knows that same old story. We don't need the same issue dragged up over and over again. There is one big difference, though, between Meghan Markle and Wallis Simpson. Wallis was a Nazi. There's no way she ever would have approved of Harry marrying Meghan. Of course, she couldn't complain about the annulment and the divorce either. She had already been twice divorced. But Meghan's quarter African-American heritage would have put a stop to that marriage. And the Queen Mother would and was unhappy with Diana's parents' divorce too, and also Prince Philip's. Now, in all fairness to Wallis Simpson, we gotta admit that she didn't cause nearly as much chaos as Meghan has. And apparently, she was not the one pushing for the abdication. That was Edward's decision. And then after the war, we didn't hear much from them. From the very start, though, Meghan has done her best to bring the monarchy down. She should never be allowed to enter the UK again. She's doing more than enough harm from across the Atlantic. And in all fairness to Wallace, she had fashion sense. It didn't matter what she wore, she looked amazing. I mean, even if she was wearing something that would have normally been unflattering, she knew how to wear it and she wore it well. Meghan, on the other hand, looks like crap no matter what she wears. Prince Philip also had his reasons for making that comparison. Speaking of Meghan Markle's past, and it's pretty sketchy. There's nothing fresh about her, and I don't even want to think about how many men she has slept with. I think she slept with Epstein, probably Trump, probably Prince Andrew, many Saudis as well. But if that's the kind of woman that Harry likes, well, I guess that's his choice. I just hope that she stays put in Montecito. She only married Harry to get that title, so I don't think anybody needs to worry about her coming back to the UK. There is an interesting resemblance, though, between Harry and Edward. Now, the poor Queen was hoping for Meghan to be something a lot better than she turned out to be. Meghan was such a disappointment. And I've heard there were two uncles in the Guards who were treated poorly by Edward. I think when he was in private, he was actually a really nasty person. I have also seen video footage of Harry when he assumed there weren't any cameras around, and he's also not a very nice person to say the least. So it looks like Harry and Meghan are about the same on the inside. Absolutely hideous. So, Prince Philip had one brutal nickname for Meghan Markle that he never said to her face, according to a royal expert. It's a shame, though, that we never get to hear his nickname for Harry. I'm sure he also had a special nickname for him, considering all his antics we have seen over the past few years. And I am curious about what he really thought about Harry for choosing to marry Meghan. I mean, he's the one who advised Harry, yeah, you step out with actresses, you don't marry them. But Harry has to take some blame, too, for being such an idiot. We know that he's weak, and he doesn't care who he hurts with what he says. People never would have thought that he was that stupid, that gullible, and such a traitor to his real family, too. So who knows what he said to her face, but from the very beginning, Prince Philip had her all figured out. And that's why she worked hard to make him miserable. Both the late Queen and Prince Philip knew what she was all about. Meghan is such a nasty piece of work, and she would probably want to get revenge on the whole royal family if she were to be satisfied. I do remember reading somewhere that Prince Philip couldn't even stand to be in the same room as Meghan. He knew what was up, he was incredibly shrewd, and he was also not shy with his viewpoints, and his sense of humor, I think, was amazing too. So I believe he saw what Meghan was, and if he had been younger, he would have put a stop to Meghan very early on. But do you think that Meghan is even smart enough to work out the meaning? And now moving on to the next bit of news. So Prince William has been showing some really sweet affection for his wife Catherine. Prince William right now is on holiday break with his family at their Norfolk home. And last weekend he enjoyed a little trip to the pub in North Norfolk with his mother-in-law Carol. Every year the Wales family escape to Norfolk with their three kids for the April half-term break. And every single year, it's their habit, they spend some time with the Middletons. So this year, considering the fact that Catherine is undergoing cancer treatment, she wasn't able to come to the pub outing. So instead, we got to see this really cute outing to the pub with Carol and her second son, William. According to onlookers who were there, they just walked in like normal people, and William enjoyed a quiet drink with his mother-in-law. William has always been incredibly close to Catherine's parents. He dated their daughter, and he's been a part of their family for 2 decades now. He would always stay with them while he was dating Catherine for 8 long years, and apparently after marriage, nothing has changed. During the engagement interview, I remember William saying, "Kate has a very close family. I get on really well with them, and I'm very lucky they've been so supportive. Mike and Carol have been really loving, caring, and fun. They've been welcoming toward me, so I felt really a part of the family." Family has always been important to both William and Catherine. So to William, the Middletons are not only his in-laws, they're so much more. They are truly his family. And if he calls Michael dad, well, obviously he has a very special place in his heart for Carol. When Prince George was born, William and Catherine stayed with the Middletons, and they trusted them to help care for their newborn son and heir. I mean, Carol, she knows what she's doing as a grandmother. And it was also Michael who had the honor to take the first official family portrait of Prince George. It was in their garden in Berkshire. In honor of Carol's 60th birthday, William and Catherine flew to Mustique with their son, Prince George, joining the rest of the family to celebrate the milestone of a woman he loved and respected as a mother. So, speaking of his love for the Middletons, a close friend of William said he loves his holidays with the Middletons because they are so relaxed. He's always saying how much fun Carol is, how she is very young in spirit and a great entertainer. One of her and Michael's favorite after dinner party jokes is announcing the flights coming into Mystique in their best air steward voices as they dine al fresco. It always has William in hysterics. In fact, last year, when William and Catherine attended the Jordanian royal wedding, Carol Middleton was also invited, as well as Pippa and her husband, James Matthews. In a Tatler magazine cover story from 3 years ago, a friend of the Middletons talked about William's affection for Catherine's parents, saying, "He absolutely adores them. Michael is charming, really kind, calm, and gentle. William loves going to the country to stay with them. Their family life is so soothing for him. Even while they were dating, William would come over for dinner with the Middleton family, and after dinner at the Middletons' home, he would stay late, engaging in lengthy conversations with Michael." So is it any wonder then that William put in a specific request to the courtiers? He requested that the Middleton family, including Pippa and James, should not only secure coveted invitations to the coronation of King Charles, but they should also be given some of the good seats. Because his in-laws, regardless of social class and protocol, are incredibly important people. Family support is everything, and William is so loyal to the Middletons. I mean, William is loyal to the royal family too, and I'm sure the Middletons feel lucky to have him as a son-in-law. Honestly, it's easy for us to see two completely opposite situations when we look at William and Harry's families. How do you feel about the events mentioned above? Please comment to let us know, and don't forget to support us with a like, share, and subscription to the channel. Goodbye for now, and I'll be back to see you again soon in other videos on Kate Middleton and the Queen channel.